Hey, what's up? This is your girl, Taylor Wilde. Welcome back to Wilde On Season 4, the podcast where you get the insider's view of the weird, wonderful, wild world of wrestling on Wednesdays. And thank you, Wild Ones, for tuning in weekly. When we get wild on Wednesdays, you guys give me a reason to get out of bed, to keep grinding, to stay in this crazy world of professional wrestling as a single mom, a full-time firefighter, a general all-around misfit. So let's get today's guest in here. Today's guest is a sister, Impact Wrestling knockout. She is also a fellow Canadian, but of the West Coast variety. It's different. She had an incredibly successful career in Mexico for some of the biggest wrestling companies like AAA and CMLL. Although you may know her best for her time in Impact Wrestling and the WWE brand NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Taya Valkyrie. Thank you for taking the time out to do my podcast.
Of course. I'm glad we could make it work. I know it's been just crazy lately, but we figured it out.
God, the world is fucking crazy right now. There is so much wrestling, though. Like post-pandemic, everything is crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely wilder than it was. No pun intended.
I love this.
Than it was like pre-pandemic, like the beginning of 2020, end of 2019, for sure.
And let's talk about those fabulous shots in the background. Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Looking beautiful and fierce. I want to talk about Taya, the human being. But
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about your time in Mexico, because that was just supposed to be like a short little tour, and you ended up living there for how long?
5 years.
Wow.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, you know how it is being from Canada.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard to get out of the black hole.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that. And even when I was, when I married John and stuff, and we were going through my green card process, and he was just like so taken aback by how complicated everything is when you want to do things right. So
Completely.
obviously I couldn't just like go to the States and couldn't just, work wherever I wanted. So I was like, okay, well, there's England, there's Japan, or there's Mexico. And then I had a contact with Conan, and I emailed him, and I probably sent him like the worst match and like promo photos, like early on. I think I've been wrestling like a year and a half. So yeah, I was very confident though in my ability.
That's all it has to be. It's your
And
sales
then
pitch.
Yeah. And then he invited me to come train for, 5 to 8 weeks or whatever it was. And then it was like week 1, day like 4 when I'm at Paraguay, and he was like, when are you going home? And I was just like, oh, I have this flight on this day. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Wow.
So yeah, it was all very like, it could have turned out completely different. Obviously, it's always
Sure.
I compare life to like Pick Your Own Adventure book from like the 90s. Remember those?
I always reference Pick Your Own Adventure. I'm like, most people in our locker room don't even know what I'm talking about because they were born in the 90s.
Yeah,
but like,
but not to
absolutely.
date ourselves. But like that's what life is. And so I definitely picked to go to chapter 45 where,
Yeah.
I stay in Mexico and do a lot of stuff there. And honestly, the place has changed my life. I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for that experience. Was it necessarily the smartest and most,
Sure.
not the road less traveled, but it did lead me to where I am today. So I
Right.
forever have like a special part of my soul and my heart that I leave there, and I have family and friends basically, when you're traveling for 5 years straight, 4 to 7 days a week on buses and airplanes and all sorts of things, you get to know people really, really well, and you kind of have this little community. So
Yeah.
definitely, Phoenix's kids are my nephews, and like
Aw.
we all very, very close. So it was a lovely time in my career. It was probably the hardest time in my career and in my life. But I mean, that's what makes my story interesting. So,
And like, I think what our listeners probably don't understand is we live in this world where you have an iPhone and you can go anywhere, basically anywhere in the world, and your iPhone still works. When early 2000, like when I was there, it was like 2005, I want to say. And I'd be standing at the payphone with a receipt, probably the length of my body, dialing out to Canada. Like it wasn't like you could just FaceTime your mom, I'm sure, when you were there.
No, and I just had like a shitty, I was very, I mean, I never really planned anything according. I was like super poor. Like when I first went, I had saved money, right? But that doesn't go very far. And I don't know what I was thinking that I would all of a sudden just be like wrestling on television and making all this money. But like I saved some money, but after a while the money runs out. And even though you're living in Mexico, I still was, I was living in Conan's house with a bunch of wrestlers. And so I was still paying rent and still had bills to pay and like had to figure out how to take the subway because I couldn't afford to take taxis to practices every day, multiple times a day. So it was very rough, but I survived. So here we are.
Now, is Conan's house in Mexico City?
He had a house in Mexico City. He lives in San Diego.
Okay.
But like AAA had a house for him. So when I moved in, for example, like Nicho Psychosis, the original Psychosis was living there. He always says that it was like me and like 3 guys that came from Canada. And he was like, I always thought that you'd be the first one to leave. But no, you're the only one that survived.
Amazing.
And then like Halloween lived with us for a bit. Silver King was staying there. I remember, Samurai del Sol, Callisto at one point came and he was like, I came downstairs and he's just on the couch. Like it was just like a wrestler house. And I was just kind of like just there, like existing and trying to make this dream work. But yeah.
It's incredible. It really is. And I think back, like at 36 years old, I don't think I could have done the dumb shit I did to get further in wrestling. Now, like I'd be fucking terrified. You couldn't drop me in the middle of Tijuana being like, okay, go find the show.
I know. I feel like there's just like a level of us at a certain age, or I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just because we're just so desperate to be successful and like chasing this dream that we just really put all the normal things that people worry about to the side.
That's true. And we're like, we're wrestlers. It'll be fine. We'll make it work.
Fearless. Yeah. And now I'm just like so paranoid also.
And it only gets worse. Like everything hurts. Everything has a consequence.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like we would just get up and do it. And it was just, that's what I wanted. And, had to make it work.
And the years that those rings in Mexico take off your career, I don't think other people know. Like there's a reason Lucha is all about rolling. Like...
And a lot of the rings when you would go to house, so for example, like a TV ring, obviously the TV ring in AAA has, people that put it up and it gets taken down and moved around and stuff.
Of course.
But you go to these house shows in literally the middle of nowhere. And this ring probably was put up 50 years ago and hasn't been adjusted since, like the turnbuckles don't match. I remember there was one ring in Piedras Negras, which is like on the border with the States, kind of under Texas.
Yeah.
This ring is in this bull arena. I don't think that this ring has like ever been taken down. And like the mat is not a mat. It feels like you're running in sand. Like these are these like weird, weird things that I remember about it. That specific ring. Goddamn.
Did you learn Spanish over 5 years?
I learned Spanish there. Yeah. I didn't know any Spanish when I first moved there. I probably, like grade 8 Spanish. So I could say like,
sure,
here's the bathroom and like, stuff like that. But like, I didn't know anything. And like, people don't realize too, is like, you're in Mexico City. You're not in Cancun. You're not in Puerto Vallarta. You're not in these places or Cabo where there are a lot of foreign people. So I was really like on my own and had to learn Spanish to survive. Like there's no way I would have survived had I not learned the language. And obviously you're in a place where a lot of people don't want you to be.
Yep.
You're trying to earn your spot and be respectful and everything like that. And then you just have to roll with the punches literally and deal with it. And so I learned everything down there. A lot of people, especially when I was living in Mexico and I would do a lot of press, would always comment on how I sound like a chilanga, which means like a girl from Mexico City, because I use a lot of expressions and slang that I just assumed were regular Spanish.
Oh, that's so funny.
I use swear words and all sorts of other things that like are very to the region.
Okay.
So that's always funny. And I'll say things just in regular day to day in Spanish to my friends, like when Taurus and Laredo are at Impact or something like that. And like other random people around that speak Spanish, like, what the hell? This chick's crazy, literally. because that's just who taught me. Like I learned from my friends, so I speak like them.
That's really cool. That like you have Mexican street cred. Like, hello.
Yeah, yeah, I can tell off a taxi driver like no other.
Oh, girl, yes, life skills.
Life skills. Or life choices,
Oh, wow.
however you want to say it.
Wow. So you're originally from British Columbia. What city were you
Victoria.
from?
Victoria.
Oh, Victoria. Okay. And majority of your family still there?
Yeah, so my mom grew up in Burnaby, British Columbia, Vancouver. My dad is from Switzerland, from like a tiny village in the middle of like nowhere. But so like my mom's family and like those kind of, that part of my life is obviously still there. And then half my dad's is still in Switzerland. So,
Oh, wow.
but we don't have a very big family either. So I really don't have any first cousins. I have very much just kind of on my own. But
Wow.
yeah, those are still around, are all still up there in British Columbia. And like my mom is coming here actually in a few days.
Oh,
So
that's so
she's
nice.
coming to visit me for the first time since the pandemic. So this is it's gonna be good.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm so happy for you. That's great. The pandemic's been really hard on, wrestlers who uprooted their lives to be in the States so they can have careers. And then, you're just exempt from your family from Canada
Yeah.
because it was fucking out of control in Canada during the pandemic. It really was.
Yeah, like I went to UFC, so all my like adult friends are all from Calgary, which is also
Okay.
where I started wrestling.
Yeah.
And I would just get updates. Like we had the text groups and we would FaceTime and like, all the like wine o'clocks Zooms. So I was hearing a lot about it, and especially just having like my mom in British Columbia and then my friends in Alberta.
Yeah.
So people don't realize like people are very different in those provinces. So I was really getting like these different versions and different opinions about what was going on, but it just sounded awful.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And so now you're living this like California lifestyle, like
Yeah.
little BC, Mexico, like School of Hard Knocks, and now
Yeah.
you're in California.
And I live in Los Angeles.
Are you in LA?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I live in Sherman Oaks, which technically is called the Valley, which
Oh,
you
you're
guys
in the
all know.
valley?
I live in the Clueless Valley. Yes.
Yes.
That was like when John and I were figuring where we were gonna live. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna like let's look in the valley," and I was like, "My only reference was Clueless,"
That's
and I was
fine.
like, "Ew, do people really live there? We're not supposed to go north of Ventura Boulevard, duh!" Like,
Is it true? Does everyone from LA just specifically talk about the traffic and how you get everywhere? Or is that just like a stereotype that's been blown out?
they do talk about traffic constantly. Someone was talking about this just the other day, how we don't like LA people, like we
Yeah.
people here don't say like, "Oh, I'm 10 kilometers or 5 miles from your house." They'll be like, "Okay, at 7 a.m. it'll take me 45 minutes, and then if it's like 10:30, maybe 20." Like you
Oh
talk
my
in
God.
lengths of time. So I have like my best friend lives in Hollywood, and I know that if I take Laurel Canyon Boulevard over the hill, it's during traffic, it's going to take me twice as long as if there's no traffic. So
Now, is this Heather best friend or is this
Laura, so
Laura?
Laura,
I was okay. That was my next segue.
yeah, Laura, my little British princess, she lives in Hollywood.
So wrestling is always 6 degrees of separation. So I know Laura because she knew my first husband, Ollie, who's English. And when we were still together, he was asking to liaise the two of us because she was just trying to get into wrestling. And then I saw pictures of you two together and I was like, oh my God, the world is so small.
I had just moved to LA and I was at a show with John,
Yeah.
and like Luchasaurus was there and like some of John's like LA friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, just go sit with Laura. And I'd never met Laura before. And
Yeah.
I literally walk up to her on these bleachers, and I'll never forget. And I was like, "Hi, I'm Kira. I just moved here. I don't have any friends. Can I sit with you?"
That's the way.
And she was just like, "All right." Why are you being weird? And then we've been friends ever since. And I met Heather through Laura at a
Okay.
wrestling show too. And then so Heather now lives in Chicago. She was here for a long time. And she was in Florida when I was there, and then now she's in Chicago. So she was just here a few days ago to visit too, which was nice. The band got back together. So.
Band was back together. Was it chaos? Did you guys have a girls' weekend?
It was pumpkin carving chaos. There were pumpkin guts all over my kitchen. And we have this rule that if you say the S word, which is shot, you have to do one. So, needless to say, I got a little messy, but
A little messy.
We never get the three of us together anymore, so it was nice.
That's really nice. Now, Laura's done like incredibly well for herself. Like considering she just like uprooted her life, went to be a wrestler, and then kind of got into stunt work, and she looks like she's living this wonderful life with this man who seems to have a very established life in LA or Hollywood.
Yeah, she's doing really good. She's doing like a lot of more acting and auditions, cool. And she's always talking to me about her acting class and her dialect class and her this class. And so she's doing really well. And so is Heather. Heather's actually on tour with a band right now because she does. Yeah, Pussifer, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yes, Maynard from Tool. We had talked about this actually. I think that's so
she's been touring
dope.
with them, and she's just started this like second leg of that tour. So that's why she was in town. So
the roads professional wrestling can take you are incredible. And of course, John, you met your husband via wrestling. Mm-hmm. Was a taboo thing, and now it's so crazy because I think wrestlers marrying other wrestlers is the norm.
I think it's totally the norm. Yeah, I remember when I first got into wrestling, like people were like, "Don't date anybody," and then
I know.
You know. But then it's like, well, it's just kind of it just happens.
Totally.
You know, like when I met John, I had no like I was just like, oh my god, it's John Morrison, and I was petrified. And he would just like follow me around Lucha Underground until like I finally went out with him, and then the rest is history. So
really,
it kind of happens. I don't know.
I love that story because I would assume, well, his character, of course, you would assume he was like this smooth motherfucker, but
he's so awkward.
That's what happens when you're pretty your whole life. You don't have to try.
He's just a cute boy, sweet boy. Oh, he was super awkward. But then like my guy friends were just like, why are you following her around? And like Daga and Phoenix and Penta that were there. And and they were just like acting like older brothers kind of. And he would just like, he's like, can I take you guys all out for dinner? And he would pay for everything. So then no one had a problem with it.
Yep.
And then like, he was just trying to suck up, but yeah, eventually it just worked. And, he took me to Hamilton to see the original cast of Hamilton in New York when we were doing press there. And
no way.
Started dating. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's a really cute story, actually. And I love that John Morrison has been fucking booped on the head as being awkward and weird because that, guys, fucking, you're not alone.
But I mean, that's part of the charm,
Oh, 100%.
His thing, he always goes, he's like, babe, do I look cool in this? I'm like, the fact that you just said that, no. All my girlfriends know he says it because he says it in front of them too. Like they're just like, oh God, John boy.
It's really sweet. I do catch myself saying things like awesome or whatever out loud, and I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to say that anymore. Like, I don't think it's cool. Like, I think saying cool is not cool. And then I try to be like, yeah, it's dope. And I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? I can't say that.
Yeah, there's some slang terms, some Gen Z slang terms that I've tried to use, and I just sound very stupid. So,
yeah.
I'm going to admit defeat.
I'm just going to stay in my elder millennial circle and be okay with it.
I'm fine.
We're good. So you've had a year. I've had a year. How have you kept yourself grounded? Because you have done incredibly well, and I'm so happy that you're back in Impact, and I'm so happy that we finally get to cross paths because we've had these like parallel fucking careers, and now we're.
Yes. I feel like this year has been crazy. I am absolutely exhausted 24/7.
Sure. Solidarity.
But it's part of it. You know what I mean? And so I've just been rolling with the punches. I think that if anything last year taught me to just do that. I was just always so worried. Like I was, you know what I mean? We're all taught to just walk around on eggshells and being worried about what everyone says. And I just don't give a fuck anymore. Yes. And I've just been living the most true version of myself and let my work speak for itself. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. And, working with people that make me happy, that listen to me, that make me feel heard, and wrestling women that are there for the same reasons I am. And I think that that's such a huge part of why I love Impact so much is because everybody is very close. Everyone talks constantly.
Yeah.
We're almost too much. Like we're all just best friends. It's so corny, but it's true. And then just like I just feel like we are all have this greater goal of making something really special, and there's not any of that weird animosity or jealousy, or you know what I mean? Again, that gets nipped in the butt so quick if it does show up. And management's done a great job of making sure that it feels that way. Gail's amazing in the role that she has, and having a woman in that position is, we just want to see more of that. So it's a very happy place for me.
I completely agree. And I know you have tons of gas left in the tank, but I'm always like pretty goal oriented. As much as I try to be more of like a type BC personality, the type A just like rears its ugly head. And I'm always thinking, okay, long term, what am I doing here? And I look at Gail and I look at Sarah Stalk, people that have had women.
Love
that
Sarah.
Have
I miss her. She's so great.
One of our Canadian weirdos who was also Mexican. Oh, Sarah. Well, and Sarah being the true nomad she is, she got furloughed from WWE and she's like, fuck it, get in a van. Peace out.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Oh, the van.
But her in that role, I know it was really stressful for her being, on the producing side. I think she was really amazing at it. And like you said, Gail's really amazing at it. Do you think ever that would be something you'd like to do? Be producing, agenting, creative? There's no writers that are women.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I am very good in the role of like the creative side of it and the visual aspects of wrestling and character and promos and things like that. I would absolutely love, it's something I want to learn to do, just I think it's very interesting, and like the television aspect and like what it takes to be in the truck and what is it that makes the show just that much better, know, because this is a business where we can do so many different things, and I think that more women should be in those positions. So I definitely would want to take the opportunity to learn to do that. And to help other people come up with what, how they want to present themselves, or what the story could be, like, for example, I feel like Rosemary is one of the most creative people I've ever worked with. And me and her, when we talk on the phone about ideas, we are just like, it's like word vomit. Like, it's just like, like everything. We could just write a story for like the next year. Like
that's great.
We work really well together. And I just would love to, continue to do that and be able to do that for other people too.
I guess Rosemary's always towed that line where she's like 100%. The cool heel, she's 100% cool baby
in there. And like even before COVID or whatever, before I went to WWE, we were really walking that line, because I just kind of organically changed from being a heel to a babyface, especially when I was, with my interactions with her. Because at the end of the day, like, people are going to want to love who they want to love or hate who they want to hate. And sometimes you just can't force it down their throat. And I feel like it's really important to listen to the fans and what their natural reactions are to what is happening. True. So that kind of like happened then. And then, I tried to kill Johnny Bravo and all that stuff. I was full baby face. It was great. And then, when I came back, obviously, like being put with her and Jessica, it's just been like this super fun ride so far. And like I just kind of say that Taya's aesthetic right now is like a goth Barbie.
Yes, I think that's perfect. And oh my god, the Jessica character is I want to see it keep going. Like it is so funny
watching her transform and just be. I've known Jessica for years, obviously. The human, Jessica the human.
Yes.
She has been, doing so well for so long, and just like to see her really embrace this character change and go 110% and really bring out this person that she's always just had inside of her. I feel like Jessica really is the true Jess. So
totally.
It's really fun to see people reaction to that, and for her to just like to watch her discovering like this new character.
Yeah. Now, because you've had a year and you've kind of come really full circle, I think, and I feel watching you both live and on the show, you're really in your true authentic power. Is there anything you'd want the listeners, the fans, to know about you that maybe they couldn't get by just Googling or, debunk anything? I feel like there's so much bullshit on the internet. If you could be like, guys, this is the deal, what would you say?
I feel like the most important thing is for people to realize like that we're all still human beings, because I think that they forget that and come for us when they don't agree with something that we said or we do. But honestly, at the end of the day, nobody has lived my life. I have. I'm the only one. I'm the only one that knows how I felt leaving Impact, how I felt going to WWE, how I felt when I got released, how I felt when my husband got released, how I felt over this last year, really having to like work through these hurdles and pick myself back off the floor. And people just need to remember to be kind and like understand that like nobody, I haven't lived your life, you haven't lived mine, and
Right.
we might have different opinions about stuff, but it doesn't mean that one is wrong or one is right. It's just me.
Yeah. And I think like that's such a big takeaway. And we all feel that as wrestlers. Like we choose to put ourselves out there in a very public way. And people assume that it's fair game to take shots at us on social media. And technically, it's this free speech platform. But also, we love our fans. We love all of you, even when you say negative things. So, you know, sticks and stones fucking hurt. So just lead.
Be kind to one another and be kind to each other. On like the fans are mean to each other.
Totally. Like, guys, relax.
It's okay to think that like someone's super kick is better than someone else's. It's okay. Like you don't have to like her because she's blonde or because I don't know. Like it doesn't matter. We're all just, you know, we're there to have fun, and we're thankful for the fans because they literally put seats, you know, fill the seats in our arenas and allow us to live this fantastic life and this crazy life.
Lead with love.
There's a Kira under here.
Yes. So. Be respectful to both.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up with my top 10 tailor-made questions, kind of a speed round, but don't feel rushed in your answer.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Name a beauty product you cannot live without. That is like every makeup artist go-to. So you are such a fucking OG. It's unbelievable. And also, for the record, you have the most stunning skin in real life I've ever seen. Like you look like you have a filter on. I'm so envious. It's total bullshit. And you're also a wonderful human being and a good worker. I love you and I hate you. Just sidebar. That's true. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this some more because I need to be on your skincare fucking routine. I love you. Okay. What is your favorite exercise?
I like doing like workout wise kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like doing like full body workouts. I gain muscle extremely fast, and so if you have me doing powerlifting or anything that's super heavy, I mean, I already have massively broad shoulders. Like I turn into linebacker.
No neck.
No neck. And then nothing fits and it's not cute. No one wants that.
It's crazy though. It's like one of those things. I'm completely the same way. I look at some heavy weights and then I lose my neck. Yep. And same thing, like big shoulders, big back. And then you have men who are lean, trying desperately to achieve that. And I'm just like, I just want to be skinny.
Yeah, just want to be small. I want to just be a nice little small medium, you know?
Just a little medium.
Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
I hate when people are late. Like I hate it. Like I just don't get it. And it's not just like wasting my time, or it's wasting everybody else's time. So if you're late for an appointment, it's like that you're disrespecting that other person's time too. I hate that.
I am so with you. I'm always that person that's 15 minutes early, and it's about my own anxiety. I think like I want to make sure that I'm on time, so I'm not ruining everyone else's day. And I don't want anyone to think
I'm being rude, and I'm just like, no.
You know what it is? We're fucking really Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh well.
100%.
It's okay. I'm good with it. Who is your celebrity crush?
Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan.
That's amazing.
I told John that once and he was like, oh my God. I was like, what? I don't know.
Pulling up. Oh my God. Oh, I love that. I'm putting oh yeah. He's such a babe. I was like, I have to. What is he in last? Yeah, he's gorgeous, and he's like our age too. So I appreciate
Black
that.
Panther, Creed, all that stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite band or artist?
I don't really have like one specifically, but I listened to recently. I mean, I love all the divas. Let's just say it that way. Good. So I have been listening to Beyonce's new album nonstop, and then when it's Lady Gaga, it's Lady Gaga, or it's Gwen Stefani, or it's Queen Britney Spears. Every so often is all we need in our lives. So
that is good. That is a genre strong queen
vibe,
genre.
Right? It's like a vibe.
I feel that, and it's very suiting. It's great. Good answer. Do you have a secret vice like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like I would rather be on my couch watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with wine and my dogs and my husband than like go out.
That's a vice. I think, I want to say across the board, I'd say mass majority of us are these extroverted introverts. We love performing. We can be social when we're at work, and then on our own time, see you later.
Yeah.
You will not catch
Leave me alone.
you will not catch me outside in groups of people if I don't have to be.
Yeah, I'd much rather a house party with like 3 people.
Oh my God. And I'm going to hide in the kitchen the whole time.
Yeah. You'll find me by the charcuterie board.
Totally. Okay, who has the best entrance music?
I mean, I love my entrance music, especially because Josiah custom wrote it for me 100%.
Love it.
But I also just really enjoy like something that's really epic, epic, epic. So if I was to just say like, I really love when Shinsuke Nakamura gets to do like his whole thing because it's such a vibe. It's such a like, I get this. I want to know. Like, I want to, tell me more. Like,
totally. Yeah. It gets you hyped. You want to follow the story. Yes. Yeah. I agree. What is your drink of choice? Doesn't have to be alcoholic.
I mean, right now, I'm just like addicted to these iced coffees. It's bad. Like,
coffee, period. I just coffee,
I've
water,
just
coffee,
been in
water.
this, like, what is this again? I don't even know. But it's some iced coffee thing with oat milk in it, and it's delicious. So
I'm with you. What has been your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Probably like costume mishaps and things like that have happened. But I haven't had anything like too recently.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
I think also over time you learn like, hey, this spaghetti strap's not going to hold your boots up. Like, so, we have a few costume fail moments, but then we get back and we're fine. So
nothing that stands out in your mind that was like horrific.
Not really.
That's good.
Oh yeah. Like I've like tripped doing my entrance before and be like, oh, like.
I feel like that's really true to your character though. Like you could just be like that and like, wow.
I would just like death drop and roll. I'd be like,
oh my God, why do you not do a death drop? Oh, because it would kill you probably on the stage.
Because of my knees.
Good answer.
Can I slowly go? Like,
just the most dramatic death drop in history. It takes a full 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's very slow-mo.
Where can our listeners find you on the interwebs? What are your socials? Any other websites you want to plug?
Yes, everything really is under the same name, at the Taya Valkyrie, on TikTok, on Twitter. I mean, I never go on TikTok, but it's still there. On Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook.com/Taya Valkyrie, as well as TayaValkyrie.com for some merchandise and stuff like that. And you can find all my exclusive content at TayaXO.com.
Love it. God, that was so well done. You've said that once before, haven't you?
I've said it once or twice.
Okay, last one. Finish this lyric. Hits my shit.
Oh my God, it's Gwen Stefani and it's Bananas.
Yes! All the girls stomp your feet like this. This shit is bananas.
Bananas.
Yay! Nailed it. We are humans first and professional wrestlers second. A lot of us have gone through a lot throughout these past 2 years. And I'm talking about us as wrestlers, you as fans, and most of all of us who feel like we have this community together in the crazy misfitted world that is professional wrestling. And I want to say a really, really heartfelt thank you to all my wild ones, because I feel like I have built a community with you that is truly a safe, inclusive space. And that has always been my dream. It's very, very rare that I see any negativity and I nip it right in the butt, because truly where I am in my life, who I am as a person, both as a mom, a wrestler, a firefighter, I don't have energy for that kind of negativity. Life is too hard. There's too many curveballs, and I am just living my most authentic, messy life. And that being said, I want to let you know I screwed up. Like, guys, I'm tired. Like, I don't even know my own product that I work for, and it's not because I don't care. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do on the show. I can't even keep track of who the baby faces and heels are, but I will always admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong. Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, Jessica, they're baby faces. Of course they're baby faces. Idiot. But that is why I have a team to do this podcast. My badass punk rock girl band, the Wilde On team. My right-hand woman, my queen, my editor and producer, Rochelle Douris. My marketing internet witch, that's right, Madison Golshani, and our sweet baby angel who does all the little things that we don't have time to do. And she sings the Wilde On theme song, Sam Smith. And until next week, keep calm and wild on.